Welcome back, guys. For this month's video, we'll be covering the worst of 2019. This will have spoilers in it because I don't think you can spoil a bad movie, and I don't want you guys to watch these in the first place. So, it doesn't need much more explaining than that, so let's get into this.
You know how in Plymouth, I like to say, everybody knows everything.
A story about a man looking for a big honkin' fish, but then ex-wife and evil new husband show up, and everything starts glitching in the Matrix. I don't have a whole lot to say about this entry. At first I was kind of interested because very early on there is this something isn't quite right kind of feel. Then it gets extremely melodramatic, then the partial reveal starts showing up, and then the movie goes off the rails for the last bit. It threads the needle between ridiculous and thought-provoking and smacks face first into fucking stupid.
Where in the world are we?
Why did you make me do that?
Fox's last outing with the X-Men franchise, because at this point we've all accepted New Mutants is never going to come out. You'd hope they give it their all and knock it out of the park. But, seeing as how this is on the worst of list, you can imagine how that went. The big plus I give this movie is getting Mystique out of here, and that's the main positive I can give it. You know there's a problem when X-Men The Last Stand is a more watchable version of the Dark Phoenix saga. Jessica Chastain is an alien with less personality than the metal Magneto lifts. Most of the relationships the movie tries to sell you on fall flat, and they try to make a Civil War-like plot towards the end, but it doesn't feel genuine and makes everyone look stupid. Hopefully Disney will find out where to take the series from here.
No sex or booze.
Okay. Woo! Maggie came to party. Let's get filthy.
Ma is a movie that runs completely off the idea, what if everyone made horrible decisions? Although Octavia Spencer is making sure you're entertained by her performance, the kids and even some adults in this film make you want to rip out your hair by the pure idiocy that's taking place in front of you. I know high schoolers can be dumb, but has no one taught these kids stranger danger? Or even better yet, if an adult invites you and your friends over to a party in her basement and starts getting too friendly to the point of stealing from you and blackmailing you, maybe you shouldn't go to that person's house? I know my mom told me about that when I was 5, but maybe these kids weren't lucky enough to have that explained to them.
This is the most fun I've had in a long time.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of chicken.
Now here's a movie that at first I had a feeling it wasn't going to be great. As I was watching it, it felt like it was going to be okay at least. Then by the end I realized how stupid the whole thing was. The highlight of the rooms is the upside down bar. The camera work done here is fun to watch, and the puzzle isn't half bad. Most of the movie is just kinda meh or not that good. Especially the ice puzzle, which should have left everyone dead of hypothermia or frostbitten at the very least. But we need characters for the rest of the rooms. The ending is where the movie really ruins itself. What could have been a forgettable but overall watchable thriller turns into a sequel-baiting trash pile. Trying to act like it deserves more after barely being passable for the first time. And when the villain of the series is revealed, you see how stupid this person is based on the cliffhanger left by this. Why would you simulate a plane crash so you can crash a real plane for the people trying to expose you? If you had the people and power to make a fake flight with a bunch, I assume, actors, you can't just hire a dude to take out 2 other people? You covered up literally everyone else's deaths. Why is this so hard?
That's why they chose us.
And they all look just the same.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Dunbar.
Learning that the lead singer of Limp Bizkit directed this might cause you to start making assumptions. Surprisingly, the direction is actually not that bad. Fred Durst is competent behind the camera, but literally everything else is garbage. The script is nonsense, no likable characters, John Travolta's performance, John Travolta's haircut, and John Travolta. The movie makes it difficult to really like anybody. Travolta's Moose may have some learning disability, but he still does very wrong things. His best friend is in the movie only to encourage him to do the bad things, but then acts like it's not okay, just to give him the resources to get further on his journey. And the actor he stalks at first you'd think would be reasonable, but he's such an asshole all the time, he even gets psychotic at the end, you can't fully root for him either. You're watching people be awful and that's it. It's getting buzz of becoming the next so bad it's good movie of the year. But I wouldn't classify it that. It's just plain old bad.
And this thing you worried about, did it show up?
Oh, yes. You did.
When this movie ended, I just sat on my bed and thought to myself, I didn't like that at all. Hellboy is a mixture of boring, shoddy effects, and a bunch of disappointment. You know that part of the trailer where he's on a big-ass dragon with a fire sword? That's just a vision, and it's just as long in the trailer as it is in the movie. You want fun character interaction and interesting dynamics like the last two movies? Nope. He's just gonna argue with his dad and mope around. You want hell demons to rise out of the ground and cause extreme violence and Hellboy has to take them all down? Too bad. You only get the first half. The demon designs are awesome, and the gratuitous gore wouldn't bother me if there was some cathartic redemption, but Hellboy just sticks the sword back in the ground and they all go away. So the death count is ridiculously high with no actual saving of the world kind of feel. Plus, the villain is forgettable as shit, so there's that. So don't watch it. That's all. Guy Ritchie is a mixed bag for me. Aladdin is one of the reasons why I can't get behind him sometimes. This film is also a very clear example of why some movies work as a cartoon and why live action makes it less interesting by a landslide. I'm getting tired of the Disney remakes like a lot of people are, but this made dumb money so they'll keep making them. The musical numbers would possibly save the film because Will Smith actually isn't too bad as the genie. In fact, he's probably the best part of the whole movie. But when all the songs and choreography are just people standing around, you rewatch the original Aladdin and you think, why would you purposely make a less entertaining version of this? Jasmine's added character moments aren't too bad, but everything else they add drags the movie down. A Whole New World is just a dark, cloudy retread with no fun landmarks. Prince Ali is Genie standing on a float while it cuts to dancers every now and then. Jasmine's new song is fine, but it feels like a generic modern radio ballad made by different people than the original songs. And they made Jafar just a dude. I watched this with my roommate, and he didn't even realize it was Jafar until I told him, because he just looks like a regular guy. It's not a cartoon, but it's a fucking fantasy movie. Stop using all your creative design on just the sets, and make your actors look amazing or important. And on top of that, the final battle is more boring than the original cartoon. There's literally no reason to watch this if you've already seen the animated Aladdin.
You remember that conversation we had about grabbing that house up in Napa?
What else?
Ma and this movie have a very similar setup plot. The movie can't happen if anyone makes a rational decision. This movie is as low on the list as it is because of how utterly stupid everyone is and how boring it gets. Plus, characters make decisions that contradict their morals from earlier. You know you messed up when you start rooting for the villain just so the movie can be over. It would be easy to say that this movie is number one, and to be frank, it's pretty bad. However, much like the Fanatic, it's not so bad it's good, this movie is just kinda dull. The designs are quite striking at first, but after like 30 minutes, your brain just kind of accepts that this is what the movie looks like, so that's no longer the problem. The plot is non-existent, and essentially, hi, I'm this cat, this is my thing. I'll talk about it for almost 10 minutes, okay bye. Then another cat pops up, and repeat like 8 times. That's the movie. It's also uncomfortably horny all the time. Weird human hands on cat bodies, baby heads on badly rendered cockroaches, James Corden, and the term jellicle cat being repeated to nauseam, but never explained, and many more things to upset you are all here. I hate looking at this movie, I hate listening to this movie, I hate having to edit footage of this movie, I hate this movie for sure, but there's only one movie I hate more from last year.
Come, we're about to begin.
I love it.
The original Lion King is one of my favorite movies of all time. That's not inherently why I dislike this film. 2019's Lion King is proof that people don't want new things. We always ask for something new in Hollywood. We're tired of the same stuff. But if that's the case, how did this movie make $1.6 billion? The Lion King is the exact same thing as the 1994 version, except it's missing some things. For one, sure, the effects are amazing. The detail is astounding. But you know what? Animals can't emote. So the voice acting doesn't match the visual performance. It feels fake and wrong.
Scar! Brother, help me! Scar! Help me!
Long live the king.
Long live the king!
Secondly, all the songs, except maybe 1 minute long segment, are just shitty versions of the original soundtrack. Be Prepared isn't even a song, he just talks the lines. Much like Aladdin, the musical numbers show why doing live action limits you in these kinds of areas. Thirdly, characters, like Rafiki especially, have no dialogue and are just robbed of their really strong moments from the original. Sure, if you want to be different, be different. But if you're going to carbon copy the movie, except change the parts that only make them worse, why'd you think you were fixing anything? The Lion King is the embodiment of what's wrong with not just Hollywood or Disney, but also the audience themselves. I'm not trying to act as if I'm above anything, but I think people just need to be honest with themselves and show that they want change.